Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your main man Steven back again to bring Matchday 3 predictions of 2026 World Cup. So first off, we got Qatar versus Bosnia-Herzegovina. Bosnia versus Qatar. Bosnia fighting for that third place spot because top spot is secured by Canada or Switzerland. But I definitely think Bosnia will beat Qatar. I go for Bosnia 2, Qatar no. Switzerland versus Canada. Switzerland, Canada at BC Place, Vancouver. I think Switzerland are a much more underrated team than people expected. Despite drawing off Qatar, I think they handle business against Canada. I'm Canadian, but I'm sorry, I can't go with Canada win. And I can't even see a draw in this one. I see a Switzerland win. Prove me wrong, Canada. But definitely, I go Switzerland 4, Canada 2 in this one. Mazembe and Brio and Bolo to have a show game. To have field game against Canada. So yeah. Morocco, Haiti. I go for a 3-0 win for Morocco. I think Saibari will score yet again in this one. Scotland versus Brazil. There's no chance Scotland beat Brazil. If they beat Brazil, that will be one of the biggest shocks in world football. So I go for a 3-1 win for Brazil. And Vinicius Jr. to score again. Cunha to score again. And I go for Neymar to score on his return with Brazil national team. 3-1 Brazil. Czechia versus Mexico. Czechia definitely not the favorites going into this game. But I'm going for a shock, guys. I'm going for a shock that not a lot of people will predict. I go Czechia to shock Mexico at home turf Mexico, I know. 2-1 for Czech Republic. South Africa versus South Korea. I think this game will be a 1-1 draw. I think South Africa has a chance. South Korea have a chance, but I don't see anything separating these two. Curacao versus Ivory Coast. Curacao played very defensive against Ecuador and have to put on another showing against Ivory Coast. But I think Ivory Coast will win comfortably. I go 2-0 Ivory Coast, but I'm not 100% confident. It might be 3-0, but I go 2-0 to the Ivorians. Ecuador versus Germany. This will be low scoring because Ecuador is a very good defensive team. But I think Germany get the job done, 2-0 for the Germans against Ecuador. Japan versus Sweden. This will be a classic of a game. But I fancy Japan's chances more, even without Minamino. And Takafuso Kubo picked up an injury, which is massive for Japan. But they have players who can get the job done in their absence, especially Daichi Kamada had 2 goals in 2 games. And you have Ueda, who scored a brace in the last game as well. I go 3-2 to Japan. But Isak and Gyökeres on target for Sweden. But look out for Anthony Elanga. He might score in this game. Indeed, this will be a fiery game. Let's see, when is this game? Thursday, definitely. Tunisia versus Netherlands. I go for a 5-0 to Netherlands. I just don't see how good this Tunisia team is. And I see Gakpo scoring again, Brabe scoring again, and maybe Memphis Depay finally scores the World Cup goal, but I go Christian Somerville score again, 5-0 to Netherlands. Paraguay versus Australia. I think this will be an interesting game, but Paraguay get the job done, even without Miguel Almiron, who's suspended. But I think Paraguay shock Australia. This is the shock prediction. I go 2-1 to the Paraguay. Turkey versus USA. I'm going for another shock here. I think USA will heavily rotate. And Turkey had nothing to play for. But I go for a 2-1 win for Turkey in this one. Norway versus France in 4 days time. I can't wait for this game. I go for a 4-2 France win. Mbappe hat trick in this one. Haaland brace in this one. But definitely a lot of goals in this one. Senegal versus Iraq. I go 2-0 Senegal. Playing it safe. Iraq played very defensive against France, but nothing to show for. I think Senegal get the job done even without Edouard Mendy, who might be missing this game through injury. We will have to wait and see. Cape Verde versus Saudi Arabia. Oh man. Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia. If Cape Verde lose, it's not the end of the world. Both teams need a win. I say Cape Verde make history here. I go for a 2-1 win for Cape Verde. But definitely don't write off Saudi Arabia. Uruguay versus Spain. I see a 3-1 win to Spain. Uruguay are just very bad. They might get knocked out early. Maybe not make it out of the group, which is very sad. As things stand, Uruguay is not what I predicted. I predicted them to finish second, but if they lose to Spain and Cape Verde win, or Saudi Arabia win, even a draw will take Cape Verde ahead of Uruguay, which is very sad. So that is what it is. It is what it is. Egypt, Iran, I go 2-1 win for Egypt in this one. Azmoun, I see Taremi to score, Azmoun retire, Taremi to score, and Salah and Trezeguet to score in this one. New Zealand versus Belgium. This is the first clean sheet I see for Belgium. Despite them drawing all their games so far, lackluster Belgium has to break down New Zealand. This is the worst team in the group, and you have to do it. This is the game to do it, Belgium. And I will back Belgium to prevail. Croatia versus Ghana. I go 3-1 win for Croatia in this one. Modric maybe score a goal. Kramaric, Pasalic for me. Ghana, so Manuel. Panama versus England. I see Panama get blown apart. 5-0 for England in this one. Harry Kane hat-trick. Rashford with a goal. And probably Declan Rice with a goal. We will see. Colombia versus Portugal. This will be a very close game. But I go 3-2 win for Portugal. It's going to be very tight. But Cristiano Ronaldo shows up again. Just like how he shows up today. With 2 goals against Uzbekistan. So I see more from Cristiano Ronaldo this game. DR Congo versus Uzbekistan. I go 2-1 win for DR Congo. Bakambu and Wissa in this one. Algeria versus Austria. I go clean sheet for Austria, surprisingly, 2-0. I think Austria has more firepower than Algeria, but we will see. If you start my former Frenchman Hussein Aouar, you will have a chance. If you don't, there goes your chances. Jordan versus Argentina. Oh yeah, and a mention for Austria. Chukwuemeka changed his international duties from England to Austria as well. Jordan versus Argentina, I go 5-0 to Argentina. Messi hat-trick in this one. And someone other than Messi to score, I go for Julian Alvarez. And I go for Rodrigo De Paul or Lautaro Martinez to finally score. But Romero might be missing this game. Let's see how serious his injury is. And that's the only injury out of the Montiel as well for Argentina. So I go with that. And for the Belgium goal scorers, I go Lukaku and Trossard in that one. So yeah, that's about wraps up my Matchday 3 predictions, guys. Tell me your prediction in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Share the video. Notification bell on. On the road to 300. Peace out. Steve Squad signing out.